Morning.
Morning,
How are you?
Gaffer.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Look, obviously, I want loads to talk to you about with Kev, and obviously, you must have some brilliant memories, Sam, of working with him. 2004-2005 season, though, with Kev. How was it?
Oh, superb. I think that we got a team and a half together at the time. I think it was. Sometimes I pinched myself and wondered how we got that team together, and of course, the blend of internationals and locals was a great mix, of course. And I think that our journey was superb in terms of how quick we did it, how far we went, and how far we could have gone, but for the stumbling block at the end. But that's another story. But yeah, that year was a very, very good year. The other years after that were just as good. I mean, the year I left, we should have finished in the Champions League, but wasn't to be because of certain financial restrictions, of course. But
Kev asking for too much money, Sam. Is that what it was?
Hey, listen, they all asked for too much money. Don't worry about that.
It was because he had all the money, though, Jay. That's what it was. We couldn't get any.
Well, you've got to look after yourself first, haven't you?
Yeah. No, Gaffer, I did say to Jay earlier on, I was saying, obviously then financial restraints were put on you to make the team better. We were, European contenders year in, year out, and always in and about it, around them Champions League spots, around January, February. It was always at the end, where the squad probably took its toll on us. But I just want to go back, and I want you to sort of tell the story of how you got the lads, because you never used to show them the training ground, did you?
No,
you used to do so.
No. The training ground was porter cabins and stuff like that. Like, I mean, just two pitches, and so at least we had a great stadium, didn't we? So we took up the Reebok and the hotel, and that was okay. And then after they signed, we took them to the training ground. So you got a JJ, and you're okay. If you showed me this, I wouldn't have bothered signing on, like me. So, but in the end, we got to improve that year on year to make it that much better. But it was a sticking point when they used to say, "Well, can I see the training?" And oh no, there's a lot of work going on at the moment. You won't see anything really. It's all blocked off, like you mean. So we sort of blagged our way through it at that point.
Yeah. Sam, like, just with Kev, obviously you made him captain quite young. He was how old was he, Kev?
23, yeah.
23. I mean, you talk about leaders now, Sam, and players in the Premier League, lack of leadership, but how important was Kev, obviously, being one of your captains at such a young age?
Oh, well, I mean, the beauty about Kev being captain was he managed to handle it. I think that there's lots of players that get that position, and actually the performances actually dip slightly. Like, I mean, Kevin really took it on himself to not just control himself as a captain, but the dressing room as well. I mean, he took over from JJ, Kev, didn't you? I think.
Yeah, halfway through the season last year.
That was a big step as well. Like, I mean, JJ Cox was one of the players that we managed to get who was world class in my opinion, and I think that over from him and managed to. The good thing about Kevin as a captain, he was on and off the field. It's not just the performances on the field and his goal scoring ability particularly, but the fact that he'd manage all the tittle tattle in the dressing room, all the rubbish that the manager doesn't want to keep knowing about. That Kevin seemed to be able to control that area, and say to the players, "Look, we're all in it together, but let's make sure we're in on time. Let's do what the things we should do." And of course, let's make sure that the gaffer don't catch you, because if he does, he might come down on you heavy. So
did you ever have to come down on him hard, Sam, like getting him up against the wall or something?
Nah. Well, occasionally in his younger days when he'd have 3 beers in one hand, like, I mean, so you do it like me. Put 2 of them down and just stick to one, will you?
Do you think them players are going out of the game a bit, Sam? Like players like Kev and that, the old school leaders who know how to control dressing rooms. Look at Man United. I feel like they struggle with a bit of leadership.
I don't think that coaches today actually want to captain in that captain sense. I think that we coach out responsibility for players to make their own decisions. We coach out decision making for the players at times, over the fact that we try and build our own our own reputation. We seem to want to cover every single thing that goes on in training and goes on the pitch, and players thinking time for themselves, I think, is limited by coaches today. So you ask for their opinion often in a dressing room, and nobody puts their hand up or says anything anymore. Whereas before, if you sort of asked for an opinion, you would get not just the captain, you get 3 or 4 opinions that actually came out that you would sometimes get some knowledge from and want to change. I mean, players can give you a lot of information and help you with a lot of things, but I think a lot of coaches today sort of think that you got to do it like this and do it this way, and then players, when asked, they say, "Well, you tell us how to do it, and we'll try and do it." And I think that's probably one of the worst things that's happened. The rest of, obviously, coaching has evolved an awful lot, a lot in the last few years.
Yeah, what I will say is that's what the gaffer was really good at. We had me, he had Speedo, he had a JJ, he had Ivan Campo, we had Kevin Davis. So he had a load of us who he trusted with them dressing rooms and asking us. I just want to move on a bit, gaffer, right? And just speak about the England job. Obviously, you've got the best record. So I just want, where'd you see it going, and how do you think they done?
Well, I mean, obviously, you're never going to not get criticised in that position, no matter what to do. Like, I mean, it's never ending. Like, I mean, I think we can all constructively, from my point of view, it was always about his substitutions, Kev.
Yeah,
it was always about if and when, and obviously the rest of it stands up for itself. Its record, when his records look back over the years, is the best. So it'll stay like that. But when it came to substitutions, is the only criticism I levelled at Gareth on the fact that he never seemed to be able to quite do them quick enough on game situations. Never seemed to see that it's not going quite as well as it should do. So I'll change it now, so it'll rectify the situation. It always seems to happen after it was either the opposition scoring or it was too late.
Yeah, more of a reaction. Yeah,
the only real criticism of the team. Occasionally, maybe playing a player out of position that didn't get the best out of him, and maybe not changing the system to suit the team they're playing against. But that's me, because you know how flexible I am. Yeah. I would change the system on who we're playing and talk to the players about it rather than the rigid 4-2-3-1. Like, I mean, that I know he changed to a back three at the end as well, which helped. But yeah, that was it. And I think his 8 years is a long time. Only I think Sir Alf Ramsey and Walter Winterbottom lasted longer than him. Shows you 8 years is a long time in that job. Now the problem is there's not enough candidates who are English. We should have more candidates who are English as to be the English manager of the English team next time around. So my fear is they'll go foreign. And there's obviously...
Well, Sam, Kev was saying earlier we should try and go all out for like Pep Guardiola. Now, I think that's, it's a big ask to get someone like that. Do you think an England job, I mean, you've been the England manager, it's the job that you can't turn down, really? Pep
will stay with Manchester City because of his loyalty. He never walked out of a football club, no matter what, unless Man City want him to leave. And I've got a feeling he'd sooner be the Spanish national coach than the English. So,
yeah, but when you look at the group of players that England have got, the squad of players, any manager in the world is going to be like, I can win a World Cup.
Just to add a little bit of juice, all I was saying, Gaffer, was that I think now with the candidates, what we're talking about, the English candidates, I just don't feel probably they're ready yet. And I feel like if you're going to go now with this group, Pep's always said that he would love to manage the England squad. I think this is probably the best squad we've had, and for him, I think he could make things happen. So is this the time, I was saying, is this the time now where we do go for a Pep Guardiola or a Jurgen Klopp to go, and use this squad? And would they be seduced by the fact that they've got this squad to work with? And that's what I was sort of, getting at, because I feel that they're probably the ones who could actually... The fans would get behind, and not only that, they would actually leave them to just get on with the job.
Well, yeah, maybe, but I mean, the one thing for sure, Ken, could England afford Pep?
Yeah.
I mean, that
was
that's
another
a big
thing. Yeah.
I mean, I
You can afford you, Sam.
I reduced my salary by nearly 50% when I went. I tell you that. So that's how much I wanted to manage England. So I wasn't in it for the money. I was in it for just to manage my country. Like I mean, so I took a big drop in my salary. But I mean, Pep's obviously, if he's interested, you just get him. Get out the boat. I mean, the squad is getting. It's just as big as anybody else's and just as good as anybody else's. It's just maybe getting the best out of them when they apply in a tournament. They never have a problem qualifying. They always seem to get to a tournament, and now they get to the final twice and can't seem to get over the line. Would Pep be the guy who could get them over the line? Well, on his track record, it would be yes, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Sam, just to wrap up, the top 5 Kevin Nolan player, is he in there, Kev? Is he in the top 5 for you? You've had
in my top 5, yes, so he is. I mean, there's a lot to contend with in my time, but he's always in terms of the fact that how long we worked together, because it wasn't just him making his debut at Bolton when I was there and it being an outstanding midfield player. It's when he agreed to drop a division from Newcastle and come with me to West Ham. So I'm forever grateful for him on that, and told me from day one that we were going to get promoted, even when I was having a. Even though I was an agent, he said, "Stop worrying, we're going to get promoted." So shut up.
Big Sam, absolute pleasure, mate. Always nice to speak to you.
Have a great holiday, Gaffer. Give Cheers,
lads.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Yeah, Sam Allardyce there, former England manager. Yeah, he's got the best record, 100%.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't go wrong with that, can you?
Exactly.
In and out, see you later. Thanks for coming. What a manager. I mean, you must have loved working for him. He was top draw, right?
That's why I dropped. You know, I remember being on holiday in Dubai, Jay, with the family and everything else, and we were with Steve Harper, his missus and kids, and they were getting on. We were all in the pool and all that, and I had a phone call from a friend of mine. He said, Sam's just joining West Ham. Do you want to go? Yeah. And then I didn't realise as I got off the phone, like, my missus who's just got friends with, like, all up in Newcastle, just settling, and I've just gone, we're moving to London.
We're moving. Oh, people don't realise that. It's a lot.
And she was like, we're not, and I was like, it's done. We're going.
We'll see you later.
And so you can imagine what my holiday was like. So I had a terrible time in Dubai for the next 10 days. But yeah, I mean, that was the calibre of the man, the way we were, and I knew, you know, once we got together, we were a good team. You know,
you two were class together. To be fair, got the best out of you, that's for sure.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.